Good day everybody, my name is Awesomecrunch and welcome back to more Subnautica Below Zero news. Now just before we start off today's video, I'd just like to thank Massdrop for sponsoring this video, and I can hear you all screaming, but with this sponsorship I'll be able to get started on the next episode of the Deep Blue documentary series, so just hear me out. Massdrop were kind enough to send me a pair of professional audio industry grade headphones which they've collaborated with AKG to make. These are the AKG M220 Pro, and they're honestly the best headphones I've ever used. The sound quality is brilliant, and you can now get them for $15 off if you use the link in the description. So instead of $49.99, you'll only pay $34.99, which is an absolute bargain. This offer only lasts 30 days from when this video is uploaded, so be quick. They also come with a 2-year manufacturer warranty, so there are no better headphones out there for such a low price. They're super comfortable since they're meant to be worn for several hours at a time, incredibly lightweight, and the headband automatically adjusts to your head size when you put them on. They're built with high-end equipment so their sound is clear, and they're perfect for gaming, editing and listening to banging tunes. With a near 5-star rating from over 6,000 sold, it would be a shame to miss out on it. So if you're interested in getting the M220s, feel free to click the link at the top of the description and check them out. So, moving on from that, let's continue with the news. First off, we have a new screenshot from in-game, and this is of the spinnerfish. Now, I don't think we've actually seen any in-game screenshots of the spinnerfish, except from one from quite a while ago where it wasn't really doing anything. But in this, we have one actually spinning around or swimming or whatever they're doing, and also the guy is holding one as well. This was tweeted by Tom Joubert, who is the narrative designer for Subnautica and Subnautica Below Zero, and apparently the spinnerfish spins around and gurgles "kill me." So we have a suicidal rainbow fish, which I'm really happy about because it's always great to have personalities in these creatures. Next up, we have a screenshot of the vent garden. Now, when I first saw this, I sort of freaked out because it's absolutely huge, but apparently it won't be this size when it's in the game. It would be awesome if it was that massive. As you can see, you can compare it to the base below. I think that might be a little bit too big, so I think they're going to scale it down a little bit, but do remember, it needs to be relatively big if we're going to be able to swim inside it. Now, as you all know, it is a cut candidate still, so it still might not make it into the game. Just because they've made a model for it doesn't mean it will ever get in. But it is some positive progress towards it being implemented, and I really do hope that the vent garden makes it in at some point. So, next bit is a bit of a spoiler warning. If you don't want to know anything about the story of Below Zero, then you're going to want to skip to the time on the screen at the moment. And if you don't, then you can continue listening, but they're not huge spoilers, so I wouldn't worry too much. So, basically, I was having a look through the Favreau, and there are some playtester screenshots, and one of them is to do with 2 parts of a precursor cube that holds Robin in place, and how they have a noticeably low texture, which obviously will be fixed at some point. And it says that the reproduction steps are to go to the sanctuary, which is one of the precursor areas in the Arctic, and then you can trigger the cube animation. So it looks like there's going to be some sort of animation where these cubes hold you in place, and it's not particularly clear what's going on other than that. There's like a console or something just in front of the player. I'm not really sure what that's going to be. I really don't know what it could be. Maybe it's Alan. I'm really not sure, and people probably already know what it is, but I'm not particularly up to date because I haven't really had the time to stay up to date with Subnautica recently, which is why there's not been any videos. But it is some stuff to do with the stories. It looks like we're going to get trapped and potentially stabbed in the face, so we'll just see how that goes. Next is also story related, so if you didn't know, there's going to be some sort of connection to Marguerit Mida in Below Zero, and if you don't know who she is, then she was a member of the Degassi crew in the original Subnautica, and it was never really clear whether she survived or not, but it looks like from Below Zero that she did actually survive, and she migrated up to the Arctic. For whatever reason, not entirely sure why you would do that, but she did, and we've got some details about what's going to be there. So it looks like there's going to be a base that she built, like you can see the Degassi bases when you go exploring in Subnautica, and it looks like there's going to be a Reaper skull in that sort of area. So a nice throwback to the original Subnautica, and also, of course, a reference to the fact that Marguerit did seemingly kill a Reaper Leviathan, and that therefore we have the evidence now for that. So that's pretty cool, and I guess we'll see a Reaper skull in Below Zero, but hopefully we won't actually see any Reapers because I'm tired of them. So story stuff is over, so if you've clicked to this point, you're fine now. You've missed all the story stuff, so do not worry. This next bit is another playtesting screenshot. It's not particularly newsworthy, but I just thought you might want to see it because it's related to gameplay and we haven't really seen a lot yet. So, as you can see here, they have built a base, and it looks awesome. As you can see, it's all the original base parts from Subnautica 1, and also you can actually see that some of those weird flora were actually in some of the older concept art, so it's nice to see that some of that has been implemented, and it is looking awesome. So next up, we have another playtester card about thermal lilies, which are the names of these pink plants, and it's essentially just a few screenshots attached, and it's basically, they seem to be in caves and stuff like that, but most interestingly, there seems to be in one of the caves what looks like a hot spring. Now that is on Favreau as one of the things they wanted to implement, some sort of hot hydrothermic pool or something like that that maybe damages if you go in it, or maybe you can get energy from it, maybe there'll be some sort of energy sapper there. But either way, cool environmental addition. Obviously it's not finished yet, that is not textured at all, it's just the basic shape and potentially just a placeholder for the moment. So we'll see how it goes, but it looks awesome, and the thermal lilies look really, really great as well. So this one is a little bit meaty, so if you stick with me, we'll go through it. This is about the player first use animations for various things in the game. Now, in Subnautica 1, there were various first use animations for things like the builder tool and the scanner and all those things, and he would basically flip them around because he has no idea what they are, because he was just Riley Robinson. He wasn't particularly interested in all that stuff. But Tom has noted that Robin should be more experienced with all of this equipment, so she should know what she's doing, because she's well experienced. She's obviously been put on this planet because she's responsible and she knows what she's doing, so it should be less of an investigation, more of a check. And he's also given some details about potentially first use animations with the penguins, who are the adorable murder things. Basically, you're going to be able to pick the babies up, and then you're going to do potentially a doctor check like a vet would do on a pet, and check the reflexes, maybe moving your finger side to side to check eye tracking. And then maybe the baby penguin throws up on her and she reacts matter-of-factly rather than being disgusted like Riley would have in Subnautica 1, because he was just an absolute chicken. Bit more of a personality for Robin than Riley had, so that's pretty cool to see. Also stuff about technical tools, and she inspects them, loves them maybe, kisses the scanner, a beacon, maybe if she dials in a nerdy joke into the device, that would be quite funny, and waypoint tool would also be familiar. Knife, probably mixed feelings about it, respects it's needed as a survival tool but doesn't like that she might hurt something with it. So again, bit of personality for her. Vehicles, sea glider lock and load battery perhaps, and basks in the new vehicle a little bit. That would be cool, because there were no first use animations for getting into sea moths or cyclops in Subnautica 1, so that's pretty cool. So next, some of these have been out for months, and by months I mean 3 months since the Favreau was actually made public, but before this I hadn't really looked at them properly, and some of you probably won't have either, so I thought it might be nice to just go over them again. There's only like 4 of them, but they're essentially new biomes that we're not really entirely sure if they're going to make it into the game or not. I'm not sure if they're confirmed or not, but there has been concept art for them and I would love to see them. So the first one are the tree spires. Again, reminds me a lot of the Deep Grand Reef with all of the little volcano things, or whatever you call them. Basically it looks great, but that's all that is. Next we have the deep twisty bridges, which is what I assume to be what the Deep Grand Reef is to the Grand Reef, so it's just a deeper version of the twisty bridges, which is what we know to be a biome in Below Zero. I haven't seen this concept art before, but it's been out since Favreau was public. But the creatures on this look awesome, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to be implemented because this is like a really early concept, but it looks so cool. And it's a really nice concept art. Really, really nice. One of my favourite, actually, I've seen. Next up, these are the crystal caverns, and to me these look insane, but they also look more sort of man-made and robotic than actual crystals. They look like something the precursors would make. Again, this isn't something that's been confirmed or is something that they're definitely working on, it's just more concept art that you might not have seen. And finally, there's also these deep crystal caverns, which look absolutely insane. Purple biomes are some of my favourite biomes, and this would look amazing in the game. And I hope it makes it in, but who knows, it probably won't. But that's just how life works, isn't it? So, finally, if you know a little bit about Below Zero, so far you'll know that the developers are potentially considering the introduction of a thing called the Spy Penguin, which was a community-suggested thing, which they have actually taken on board and have seemingly started developing. Now, this is an animation for it, where the penguin actually gets a little camera going out of its chest, and it also has a little grabber arm as well. So the thing on the end of the stick is a camera, which you'll seemingly be able to use to control the penguin, and it just looks adorable, and I just want to play with it, and I hope it makes it in, because if it doesn't, I'm probably not going to be very happy, but, you know, I won't hold the devs hostage. Essentially, I just like to see the Spy Penguin in because it looks adorable, but I'd like to know all of your opinions on it as well, so do let me know in the comments below what you think, and yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Hasn't been a lot of news recently, but there will be a lot of stuff coming on, because we're not actually that far away from the first release of Subnautica Below Zero. There isn't a date in concrete, but it's going to be towards the beginning of 2019, so we're pretty much there now. So it could be any time really from after January, I'd assume. So yeah, I'm really excited to play it. I literally can't wait, but there's not a lot happening at the moment, which is why it's been a little bit dead, and I'm sorry I haven't uploaded. It's sort of technical science. Things are happening that I can't really avoid, and I need to be prepared for them. Namely mocks, which is why I'm slow. But anyway, I'm going to leave it here, guys. So if you did enjoy the video, please give it a like. If you're feeling really, really generous, subscribe to me, Crunchy Xavier. Until next one, I'll see you guys in the next one. Try, my friends.